Hi, Saturday, July 9th, 2016, Maneko 64 here, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. I was just looking through my YouTube channel and a video popped up from a channel I don't subscribe to and never really listen to. It's called Anonymous Official. I guess those are the guys with the Guy Fawkes mask. I actually don't pay much attention to them, but their latest video popped up and it says Anonymous message to the citizens of the world 3 Roman message number 3, I guess, Roman numeral 3, and I just clicked onto it to listen to it, and it was a really interesting message. Basically, the guy talking was explaining how the fiat money system works, how it's based on never-ending debt, and how in the U.S. He uses the U.S. as an example through this Federal Reserve, which he explains that it's a privately owned institution by the shareholders of the major banks in the world, and he explains how the Federal Reserve actually creates money out of thin air to lend to the U.S. government, and then they take those government bonds, the Federal Reserve, and the taxpayer has to finance those government bonds for the government and pay back the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve creates that money basically just digitally out of thin air. The Federal Reserve hasn't owned any gold since the 1930s, as Anonymous says. And he also explains how the member banks, the smaller commercial banks, have the same power as the Federal Reserve. When they lend money to customers, they create a book entry. They don't have any gold. They create it out of thin air, and they explain how they can do that to the power of 10. So if they have $1,000 deposited, by Mr. Smith at Bank of America can lend $10,000, and that has to be paid back at interest. So basically, this is a huge message. I mean, it just exposes how fraudulent and criminal the fiat money system is, and people are starting to wake up. I mean, I was telling my colleagues at work when I worked in the city in 2008 and 9, when the banks, the governments had to bail out the banks. I told them, this is screwed up. We, the people, are bailing the banks out because what's the government lending the banks? They're lending, our future, our production, our savings, because what they lent to the banks was government debt, which is paid back by the taxpayer. So it's all coming out now, how fraudulent the system is, and I guess the only way to stop this is to abolish legal tender laws, which gives the Federal Reserve and the member banks the power to create money out of thin air. If you eliminate legal tender laws, then you have competitive currencies, and the market will decide what they want to use for money, and it won't be based on debt. So very interesting video and message by Anonymous. It just came out 2 hours ago. So I'll put it up here on the card for you to listen. It's just over 10 minutes long. So if you like my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Take care. Bye.